This conference will now be recorded.
I got 6 o'clock, call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe we do not have an amendment, so I just need adoption.
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes 5-0-0. I will open the public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Public comments.
Ryan Mokreski, just kind of curious what the status is. I saw something on Facebook and I'm just trying to get clear the air of what the truth is as far as like a funding shortfall on the pool and then a interfund loan or something like that. Just kind of wondering what's that all about. Or maybe that's complete
You want me to take that?
fabrication.
Okay. Yeah, so as you know, we asked for bonding for $3 million for a $4.626 million pool. And we formed a fundraising committee. The fundraising committee has raised about $626,000, somewhere in there. So we're about $1 million short right now.
Okay.
Once we bid, we'll have a clearer picture of how much we still need to fundraise. Could be anywhere from 700,000 to $1 million more that we have to fundraise. The idea would be that we'd like to get the pool going and continue to fundraise, hoping that the fact that the pool is actually happening is going to stimulate some more donations. So the committee continues to go out far and wide, grants and whatever we can look for. The hard part is there's a 10% inflation factor. So if we wait for a year, then we have to raise another $426,000, give or take, at this point. And that also played into the timing of the referendum vote. We needed to get it going. We just barely got the plans done now, so it needed to get going. That's why it was run on the earlier primary election, not the general election. In conjunction with Burbach Aquatics, our consultant, our pool consultant, was their recommendation of when, and they needed every bit of this time to get the plans done. I've got the plans on the desk in the back now. It's out to bid. We will open bids on the October 21st, and I'm asking council to award bids, again, assuming the bids come in where we need them to. Ideally, they'd come in a little low, and that would cut down on our remaining number to raise, or remaining dollars to raise. So in projecting that out, we went to Ehlers, our financial consultant, and asked them, okay, if we're not able to raise all this money, what have you seen done in other cities? And they said, well, one of two things. We could do an abatement of an area, like the area around the pool, do a tax abatement. And Kim, you can correct me if I say anything wrong here. Or you could look at an intra-fund loan, in which case we would borrow from ourselves and then pay that back at whatever interest council determines. Now, that's all council decisions, and it's all going to fall back on council. It's our job just to put the information out there.
Okay.
So nothing has been decided yet as far. We see when the bids come in, we'll see where that's at, and then the council will have to make some decisions from there.
Okay. So nothing's going to a vote at all tonight or anything, or?
No, the only thing going to a vote tonight is October 23rd. We need to set a special meeting of the council because that's the way the bid documents. There was some discussion whether it should be the park board or the council, but the bid documents were written up as a meeting of the council. And in our ordinance, Mike Flaherty helped me out with that, looking through, and council should be involved one way or another. Park board definitely has some say in there too, in concurrence or not. So in all likelihood, what I'm asking for is to set up a special meeting to accept the bids. If the bids are where we need them to be. And then we'll invite the park board to be there as well.
So, so we would be borrowing money from ourselves at a predetermined interest, could be 0, could be 10, I mean, whatever. I guess kind of my concern is, and to be clear, I support the pool. That'd be great to have that back in the community. I just know that the people that voted to have that pool, I believe the language was something about not to exceed, I think it was that maybe that 3 point whatever million.
Yep, 3.1 million. Yep.
So now we're gonna, and even if we take this 700,000 million, whatever, even if it was loaned internally at 0% interest, we've now taken something that was supposed to be a community burden, a voluntary community burden that people have the goodness of their hearts would go buy pizza and go, donate out of their own pocket, not have it imposed, because essentially to repay this, how would that get repaid? It would be a tax increase, or it
It
would
would
be?
have to go on the levy, absolutely.
Okay, so to me, I just think we're taking something that we said, hey, yep, let's do this, but here's your budget. And the community as a whole did not meet up to their end. And I understand inflation, we all feel this every day. And that sucks that, okay, if we're a year down the road and we got to add 10% to this, yeah, we got to, but to me, it doesn't seem right to be going the other way and putting a burden on the community that they voted not to have put on them.
Well, and yeah, and that's why we went to our financial consultant to ask the question. He's like, well, politically, who knows if it's a good idea or not. The question you have to ponder is not having a pool, maybe never having a pool again, because if it's another $465,000 we have to raise for waiting for a year to keep fundraising, it may never happen.
Yeah.
Or do we get this going and do we get this amenity in town for the citizens? It was a pretty good majority of those that came out to vote that passed it. And I did some statistical things on that. And a 71% passing with the votes that we had, even if we had 3,000 voters, and half of them voted again, it's still going to pass, So to say that more than half of the community doesn't want the pool, I think is categorically incorrect based on the statistics, even though, there was only a certain number of votes out of the community. Those were the people that cared about it either way that came out to vote. So that's the question that the council is going to have to ponder, and we're going to get there. It's going to come in a hurry here on making a decision like that. It's a council decision. It's plenty within the law. This has been done. I've had other area administrators say, well, you just do an interfund loan. Well, okay. So yeah, I agree.
I just know for me, if I don't have the money to do something, I reduce the size of can we scale down the pool project and make it meet what the funding available is? Or do you need all the funding up front? Can we say, hey, you know what, we're going to sounds like we've got 75% of this thing funded. Hey, you know what? Let her, put a deposit down and hopefully it comes back. Because it'd be done next spring or ready for next summer.
Yep, so the completion date on the bid documents is May 31st.
Okay.
That's substantial completion. The final completion is into September because there's always punch list items. But we will look to open then. We also are going to put an alternate in there to open towards the end of July, just to see if that changes the numbers. If the numbers are way high, if we give them some more time, maybe those numbers will come down a little bit.
Sure, because those you have to get in the ground and do whatever, so.
Yep.
But really, it has to be 100% funded up front before you can even do anything.
Well, we know, because it's not 100% funded up front, and we're hoping to get started and continue to fundraise along the way.
Okay.
And hopefully to get all the way to where we need to be. But yeah, no, the question of value engineering comes in at some point as well, just exactly what you said. Well, what can we not do? This has been pared back. Well, Fred was, most of those meetings, or all those meetings, and Aaron as well up here on the park board. But this was the 26th version, I think, or something like that. It went all the way from like a $9 or $11 million water park with a lazy river down to something that we felt that a community our size could handle reasonably. So yeah, all the due diligence was there for, it started years before I was here, even.
No, and I kind of what I'm getting at is I would put it back on the citizens and say, hey, you know what? If you want to see this happen, like we voted for, you need to make it happen from a citizen standpoint, not the city working some magic behind the scenes for us.
Oh, yeah, no, and we'll continue to do that. We've got more fundraisers coming up that the committee is working on. There's about 9 or 10 different applications for funding out for donations, more to come. So we're going to whittle away at that. Hopefully if we realize one big one, really big one, then we're good.
Okay.
It's just, we'll keep going at it.
Any more public comments? I will close the public portion comments. And consent agenda, all items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by council and will approve by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless council member requests, in which the case item will be removed from the consent agenda and be considered in the normal sequence of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Bobby.
It's quite small this month, which is nice. I was just going to mention a couple. One of them is 82035 for Flaherty and Hood for legal fees of $6,172.50. The other larger one was WHKS for some engineering for $17,434.09. Everything else was pretty standard and normal. Any questions?
What was the attorney one you said?
The attorney one, that was for $6,172.50 for just general services.
And I believe that's part of our contract, right? It's a yearly contract.
There were some additional services on that as well, which are available by reviewing the invoices.
No other questions. I would make a motion to approve the accounts payable of $47,934.70.
I have one, sorry, I just have one quick question on that. Just to kind of, I think it's a good point. On the post, assume is for water, our water
Which
bills,
was it, Mayor?
the 780.
Actually, that was for the new water meters. We have been sending out notifications to the citizens and we've been buying.
Okay, bulk
Stamps.
postage, okay. Because I just wanted to use it a lead. I know it's been talked about for a while is somehow trying to save the city some money on postage and our postage cards when it comes to our water bills. I know we've had problems. We spend, how much money do we spend a month? $300-400 a month on postage?
No, I believe the postage bill for there is about $500 a month plus.
Plus the paper products,
Stationery
plus
paper
Miranda's
per clip
time.
copy.
I know that's something that I'd like to start talking about. I know office and I know a couple of us have talked about that. If they want a bill, we have to put a small fee on because it costs us money and make people pay automatic or get an online bill. So I know that's been a cost that I've been thinking that. And I know Miranda spends a lot of time getting them out and they get lost and people call. So, sorry, that's all I had to say about that.
I have a question on that. Ken, do you know what percentage of how many people do it online or do it?
I would say we still send out quite a few. Number of bills. I could check for you and tell you how many because it would be on the bulk pieces of mail. Some people are fine with email bills. They just haven't signed up for email billing. Some people. Yeah.
But do you think, 70% we're still sending out bills?
Maybe 50.
Oh, really?
Maybe less, maybe more than that. I would say most of our payments are coming in either ACH or online now. And if they're paying online, they have the full capability of viewing their entire bill online because that's what they're doing already.
Perfect. Okay, sorry.
You gotta remember that there's some elderly people in town here that they want the paper thing. So to me, tacking on a fee for them, to me is not right because they gotta get,
And I agree with that, and that's been discussed. My concern is with that is people's mortgages and Excel and people are charging if you want an invoice or you want a monthly bill, they'll charge you $1 or $2 or 50 cents. And I've just been thinking of ways to try to save our cost and the time that Miranda spends on getting that out. So I know there's stuff like that, elderly people, but that's just my opinion on that. Sorry, we got a motion on Bob. Any further discussions on accounts payable? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Bob. Let's jump to new business. Request for proposals for a new city auditor. Kim?
Yes, our current auditor has decided that he is not going to do municipal audits any longer. So he is giving us time to go out for a request for proposals for a new auditor. Brian has spoken to a number of the area cities to see who they use for auditor. They're more of big firms because auditing is getting so specialized. So we are just asking for permission to submit proposals to get bids or proposals from those auditors as to what they would charge us and what their scope of services would be. Brian's prepared a scope of services for them, which is similar, it was just exactly what we had before, and we'll see what, we'll bring them out to them. I am anticipating it will be more than what we currently pay for an auditor.
What do we pay right now? 26,000?
26,000. I'm thinking it will be in the 30s. That's probably my guess.
Well, maybe not, because all the books are in such good order here.
Wish, yeah, no, no.
I just seen a motion a second to approve getting bids out.
I'll make that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Kim. 8B, internal posting of Public Works Director position. Brian?
Yes, we've been talking about this for a little while on how we want to handle posting of the Public Works Director position. Just requesting that we do an internal job posting. I think we have qualified candidates internally. We have one that's been doing the job for quite a while now and doing an excellent job. But we do need to post it. So I'd like to post it internal. Whoever wants to apply would apply just the way we would if we posted it external. Do interviews, same way.
Do we have a deadline we need to put on there? I assume starting tomorrow and deadline a week or two, or I mean?
Yeah, I put Thursday, October 16th.
Okay.
To approve that internal job posting.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Brian. One more, 8C, special meeting to award pool bids, which Brian spoke about a little bit earlier during public comments. But let's get the full load out.
Yes. So again, Fred and I talked, and there was some, should the park board award these bids? Should the council award these bids? I consulted with Mike Flaherty about our ordinance and how it's written for park board. I think we determined that, the reality is it could probably be either one. There should be council involvement, of course, but it came down to the bid documents were written up by Burbach because they do a lot of these, and in their experience, it's always the council that approves these bids. So that's what was in the bid documents that went out and was published. So ultimately, it's going to have to be the council, but I do want to invite the park board to be there for awarding bids. We also have bid opening on October 21st, which I'll consult with everybody on that too, because if we have more than a quorum of either the council or the park board at the bid opening, we'll need to post that as a meeting as well. But for this one, we have to set a special meeting because we want to do it October 23rd. That's a date that Burbach wanted because they want to get all the paperwork done after awarding and get the contractor in the ground no later than November 3rd to get all the excavation done before everything freezes. So yeah, requesting to set that meeting for Thursday, October 23rd. Do you have any more to add, Mike Flaherty?
I can just fill in a little bit on that. So you kind of have a unique park board structure, I would say. You have a statutory park board. So that's your ordinance is allowed by statute. And so your park board has more authority than just a regular subcommittee of the council. I think the bottom line is this: you read the ordinance and the statute both, They both allow the park board to enter into contracts with the city council's consent. It's how it's written, both in the statute. Your ordinance is copied from the statute. And it says the board may, with the consent of council, make contracts and leases, et cetera. And so the park board could have, I think, legally been the contracting party here. But the city can also be the contracting party. And because Burbach created your bid specs that way already, and it's already posted, I'm advising you not to deviate from those. And then also, I think the funds that are going to be paid are being held by the city and not the park board. So that's the other part of this. The statute, by the way, does allow you to transfer funds to the park board. So that's allowable by statute. But and that's a long-winded explanation of why it's before the council board. Although I would say the park board has to consent to this. They don't have to be the contracting party. And then lastly, related to the public comments that were made earlier, I think you should understand, and I'll explain this at the meeting when we open the bids or when the bid is awarded, that you always have the right to reject all bids. So that's right in the bid specs. That's in the competitive bidding laws. So if you open the bids and they're grossly higher than you thought they were going to be, you're not obligated to contract with anybody. You could reject all bids. You could actually reject all bids for any reason. We always have that, reserve that right, and that's reserved in the bid. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, they can forward those to Brian, and I can answer them before October 23rd. So that's all I have on it, unless you want something else, Brian.
Nope, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the detail.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate what you said was we don't have to accept any bids. I guess I'm not quite sure of a bid awarding meeting. To me, it's going to be more of a discussion to find out if we're going to award it, how we're going to do it, and how we're going to pay for it. And I think that's got to be upfront and decided on before we award a bid, is to see how we're going to pay for the pool. I guess that's how I look at it.
Yes, let me look at the calendar here.
But we do have to find out what the bids are going to come in on.
Our next council meeting, well, at our next council meeting, we should probably talk about just that. We're not going to have the bids yet, but we should probably have a discussion on if the bids come in high, or if the bids come in on right where they're supposed to be, and we think we're going to have a funding gap, what do you want to do? That can be an October 14th discussion. I'll be remote, but we can have the discussion.
Could we do it at the work session?
Oh, yeah. When's the work session?
The 13th.
13th. We will do it at the work session. Good thinking, Kim.
Oh, excuse me, 15th. Excuse me.
Can we see when we get to work session that we have what Burbach budgeted for each category?
Oh, yeah, that's been out there.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I just want to make sure the council has all those if they don't bring them or know what they are. And then we can also figure out where we're at, plus or minus on each category. And I assume some of them bids are going to be a couple different areas. And so we'll have to look at that. But I'd like to see what we budgeted at the 4.6 mil to where we're actually at, to where we got donations to, I know we've got one in kind already on demolition on that, or at least seen the number.
We did, yep, 56,000.
And it'd be just interesting to compare what we've already gotten to what they
You
projected. So,
Yeah, you want that in the work session.
Yeah.
We already have a commitment, a verbal commitment to put the roof on, do the roofing materials. We've also got a verbal commitment to put the gutters, a local contractor. So those type of things will all shake out along the way. October 9th, we will have a pre-bid meeting in here, pre-bid meeting and contractor awareness. And that's the time that Burbach wants to know if there's anybody that wants to donate equipment, materials, time, that type of thing. So there's where we'll start to shake out the in-kind donations. Hope there's $1 million then. No,
Priggy flooring, I heard I saw it.
Turkey floor, we're gonna put carpet in the pool?
So I just need a motion and a second to approve
Can I
that.
can I make a comment at all?
Yeah,
This demolition that Schumacher bid out now, was that no, they bid it out at 56,000 or whatever.
Yep.
And Burbach's got in there at 350,000 for demolition and stuff.
So they've got 325 for demolition and excavation. When I talked to them about that, I said, hey, this is great. We got 56,000 for demolition. And they said, well, we're not quite sure what excavation will come in at. So we won't truly know how much of an in-kind donation that is until we get the excavation number.
So
It's combined.
I know they were gonna demolish that early before, that won't happen now until the whole project starts.
Well, yeah, because we wanted to get that, we wanted a big hole in the ground and, well, I guess it's a big hole anyway. We wanted a dirt hole in the ground and no buildings there for the Covered Bridge Festival to say, hey, this is happening. We couldn't get there because the gas never got disconnected. It was scheduled for April, never got done, got put on hold. So that held us up from doing the demo. So now we will probably hold off and do the demo just before. So because part of the demo was to maintain the fence around the whole thing and have it secure. So now we'll probably hold off and coordinate the demo just before we're going to get in the ground to get moving, because then we don't have the temporary fencing and things like that. If the bids are way out of whack and we're not doing anything, we still got to get rid of the pool. So in all likelihood, we're still probably going to do that, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully we don't have to. Hopefully everything's a go, but a lot of decisions coming up in the next month for sure. A lot of sleepless nights for me coming up too, trying to get this to fruition.
so I need a motion and a second to approve that meeting for the 23rd of October at 6:05 concerning the awarding construction bid.
I think 6 PM is what it says in the bidding document. So
Yeah,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 500. Thanks, Brian. Reports, Brian.
oh,
Thank you. Have a good day. No.
Yeah, we've been doing negotiations. We're really close on one, and we completed one just about 6 minutes before the meeting started here. So we'll give you updates on that. I have to put together all the paperwork and type everything up, but it's been it was good. Long meeting today, but it was good. I can't think of anything else right now.
Sounds good.
Sorry.
Thanks, Brian. Brian Flair, did you have anything you want to comment on?
Mike, but no, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
What did I say?
Brian.
Brian?
Simple.
Oh,
All right.
what did I
Good.
do?
It's a good Irish name. Yeah.
Okay. Chief? Sarge? Jeff? James? Kim?
Nothing.
Miles?
Nothing.
Bob? Joan? Kevin? Fred?
Well, no, nothing.
Meeting adjourned. Where'd I get Brian? 3 months, 10 months, it's all the same. Okay.